Hello, everyone, and welcome to Police Off the Cuff Real Crime Stories. I'm your host, retired NYPD Sergeant Bill Cannon, a 27-year veteran of the NYPD. Everyone was excited, and I guess people like to use the word closure when Dee Warner's body appears to be. It's not positively identified, but it appears to be her body found inside that tank. And the things that were done to cover it up leads us all to believe that it was premeditated and that her husband, who is being charged with murder, Dale Warner, is the person responsible for this. So today is going to be the autopsy. So we are all hoping that we will find out the cause of death, of course, because that will do a lot to convince people exactly that Dale Warner is the perpetrator. Perhaps there'll be forensic evidence that ties him to it, although we discussed earlier that it'll be tough. DNA on her body doesn't mean the same thing because, as it would in a stranger case, because they're husband and wife, they live together. So it's not the same smoking gun as it would be in a lot of cases, but it's still very important. And I think we anxiously await the results of this autopsy. And you know something, we pretty much know what it's going to come back to. We pretty much know that it's going to be Dee Warner's body. And it's horrible. It's a horrible thing because people were praying that she would be found somehow, found alive. Although that was sort of a stretch to think that. But there she is on the screen, a very vibrant woman. It's something that the family has gone through all kinds of hell with this, and they were hoping for a better outcome than this, but they obviously knew because they pushed the judge to declare her dead. So that's one of the things that is so tragic for the family. So folks, hang on to your hats, hang on to your seats. You're about to enter the true crime from a police perspective. You're about to enter the off-the-cuff zone, the police off-the-cuff zone. There has to be some common sense.
Yes, sir. They have the car stopped in 10th and Ranch Michael by there.
We still don't know who pulled the trigger.
So today, Tuesday, August 20th, they're going to autopsy the remains that were found in that tank. We'll discuss this right now.
Many eyes across the country are on Lenawee County.
Yeah, and I'm Jeff Smith. Police finding human remains, on property belonging to the husband of a missing woman. Family members say they believe evidence Dee Warner was killed has been found, and an autopsy is slated for tomorrow.
Our live team coverage continues tonight. Sophia Pericone is tracking the relationship between Dee and her husband, Dale, who is accused of killing her.
She and Megan Hartnett, they have been following the developments in this story since it broke yesterday. Our team coverage starts with Megan in Lenawee County, where authorities previously searched thousands of acres.
They've done dozens of searches, but this new discovery was not from a plea deal or a new tip that was called in. Greg Hardy, Dee's brother, says it came from the collaboration between Michigan State Police and the family. Family spokesperson Catherine Adams says MSP went to the Paragon Road property, and when looking at the anhydrous ammonia tanks, one had a notable difference. She says one tank was freshly painted, had imperfect weld marks on it, and a do not use sticker. This tank was then verified to have human remains inside, remains the family believes are Dee's. Community members say they've been following the case since the beginning and are hoping the family gets closure.
I'm in it this far. I want to see how it ends, and then I hope the family gets justice. You know, they've been through a lot.
And the family appreciates the community support.
The support side of it has been very, very heartwarming. You know, we very much appreciate it and feel like we're going to be in debt to the community forever.
The family says the next fight for them is getting a conviction in court. Dale Warner is scheduled to be back in court on September 4th for a pretrial hearing. Reporting in Lenawee County, Megan Hartnett, WTO.
The case will be moving forward, obviously. I think that the family knew, everyone knew that this was inevitable, but finding her body has to be sort of a relief for everyone now that they know. You know, I don't want to know if I can use the word closure, but she's been found. You know, she's been found, and that's a big thing in this case because it goes all the way back to April 25th, 2021. And I'll try to put this up on the screen, a little timeline of the occurrences in this case. Here we go, up on the screen. Dee Warner has been reported missing for the last 3.5 years. April 25th, 2021, Dee was reported missing. June 2021, investigated into her disappearance was halted, but then resumed several months later. October 2021, Dee's property was searched for her remains. August 2022, Michigan State Police take over the investigation. May 2023, police announced additional searches are taking place in Lenawee County. November 2023, Dee's husband, Dale Warner, is arrested and charged with murder. August 18th, 2024, officials announced that human remains were discovered on Dale's property in a welded tank. That's the latest news. Today, August 20th, 2024, autopsy of the remains have been scheduled. September 4th, 2024, Dale is set to appear in court for his trial. So these are some of the ongoing things we're hearing about. And obviously, he was arrested, and it was based on circumstantial evidence, that from which inferences are drawn. And, you know, we have to realize that Dee Warner's brother, Greg Hardy, he was the one that kept this case alive. He really kept this case going because they hired a private investigator. They weren't satisfied with the response they were getting from the locals, the local police. And so they had the state police take over this investigation. And they put more resources into it. They put more manpower. And the family also hired a private investigator. And that probably helped a great deal. I want to put a picture of Greg Hardy up on the screen because he is actually extremely important to this case as he has pushed it so hard. And you know, these are the type of things where you can't really count on law enforcement giving it the attention that perhaps it needs because of other responsibilities, other cases they have. Here he is, a picture of, on the right is Greg Hardy, and that's with the private investigator that the family hired. So he's been pushing this case from day one. He's been doing a hell of a job, and as a result, we know that they found her body inside that tank. So I think we all need to give kudos to Greg Hardy, the brother of Dee Warner, who kept this case alive and kept it going. So They had, of course, a circumstantial case against Dale Warner. What they have now is they have a body recovered, and it'll make it that much easier. Not easy, but easier. It'll make it that much easier to charge and to get a conviction against Dale Warner. So, all of the evidence that was circumstantial, now we have a solid piece of evidence, the body recovered. Can you get a conviction for a murder without a body? It's possible. More difficult, but it's very possible.
Missing in 2021, and now there's been a breakthrough in the case. According to family members, the body of Dee Warner has been found. State police tell us that remains were found at the property of Warner's husband, Dale, early this morning in Lenawee County. Investigators are awaiting autopsy results to positively identify the remains. Now, Dale Warner was arraigned on open murder and tampering with evidence charges in June. The family of Dee Warner has spent years wondering where their loved one was, even having a funeral without her body. CBS News Detroit's Terrell Bailey talked with Dee's nephew about how the family is moving forward from here.
Parker Hardy is the late Dee Warner's nephew. He's been out of town the last few days, but he says the past 48 hours have brought relief.
So the constant question of where she's at is now finally answered at this point. And so it was such a huge relief. I can't even explain the sigh of relief.
It's been a long 3 years for Dee's family, but now closure is given. Next, an autopsy will be conducted to determine the remains' official identity. But authorities alerted Dee's closest loved ones of the discovery late Friday.
I heard a very little piece of it from my mom that she was able to recognize her, and she was pleased to see that she looked just like she was resting.
Dee's family have been outspoken for years on suspicions Dale Warner may have caused her death. In November, Dale was charged with murder after Dee was legally declared dead. He has pleaded not guilty. According to the family, Dee's body was located around 4 miles away from the home she shared with Dale.
He had a field that had an older barn at it, and he would park these tanks at that barn, at this old abandoned barn.
I'm told the tanks were primarily used for farming. The family also says the tank had a sign on it saying "Do not use." Though a body has been found, an investigation will get underway to determine who put Dee's body in the tank.
We had a funeral, formal funeral without the body. Just tried to do it as normal as we could. And while it provided us closure, it didn't provide the closure that this did, obviously.
Terrell Bailey, CBS News.
So you can imagine the horror for the family, but again, in a certain, not even a strange way, in a human way, that they know they now have closure. And I know that word is overused, closure. Their family member, their mother, their aunt, their sister, in the case of Greg Hardy, her body's been recovered. And a lot of it, this is because the family pushed so hard. They pushed so hard for the police to keep this investigation. When we talk about a great deal of time, Professor Mike Geary, who's a co-host quite often, he uses the term consciousness of guilt. And I couldn't help but thinking when he slapped a sticker on the tank, "Do not use," on the side of the tank where the body was recovered, that's called consciousness of guilt. That's also called premeditated. And all of those things will be remembered when Dale Warner goes to trial. Consciousness of guilt, premeditation, and how he tried to cover all these things up. So, folks, I want to thank everyone for tuning in this morning. It's just a quick update on this case. I'm Bill Cannon from Police Off the Cuff. Have a great day, everyone, and God bless.
One episode just ain't enough.